welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie and today I'm just going to be doing my makeup and telling a little story time. I've just felt very pulled to kind of, I guess, share my life, share my story with the internet, mostly as like a diary kind of video journal, just so that I can look back on it. I also have a 3.5-year-old son, and I just think that I would love to look at videos of like my grandma, my mom, my aunt. Like I'm very interested in my older relatives in my life, and there's like nothing for me to look at. So I just feel like making videos is kind of a cool way to document my life in a way and just share what I want to share. So yeah, I also think it's a good way for people to connect and kind of relate with each other's experience in life, which I think would have really helped me a lot when I was a kid. Okay, so I have a lot of different stories that I want to share. This one is definitely more of one of my fun stories. So it's a story of how I moved into a giant mansion with 5 other girls and made our own little kind of sorority house when I was, I think, around age 20 or so. Yeah, I would have been about 20 when this happened. So where I'm gonna start for this story is I was basically in a relationship with a guy who had some alcohol abuse problems, and me and this guy were on and off for like almost 5 years at the end of it. But this was around like year 3 or so of us being together, and things were just really like bad. Like he was just drinking and I was trying to help him get sober, and it was just like a lot of drama. We were living with his mom at the time, and more on that another day maybe. But yeah, so I basically lived with him and his mom, and I finally was like, okay, I'm moving out. Like I can't deal with this anymore. Like it was just the amount of drama. He would literally get drunk and then he would just leave for like 3 days. Like he just wouldn't answer any text messages. He knew that I was like trying to help him get sober, so that kind of pushed him away. And I was trying so hard to control like his addiction and help him that it was just pushing him away. So yeah, let's say he would drink, he just wouldn't come home for like 2 or 3 days because he knew that I would smell it and then I would be upset. It would be a whole thing. So at some point I was like, okay, I can't live like this anymore. Like I need to move out. I need to figure something out. So I have a little dog actually. She's right behind me. Susie. Hi, sweetie. That's my little Susie. So me and him actually got Susie together. I got her from his sister. She was like gonna adopt her out, and she offered her to me first. So I needed to find like a pet-friendly rental, which is obviously very hard to find. So I found a girl that was like living in this little townhouse, and she was gonna be able to rent to me and Susie. And yeah, so I ended up moving in with her. It was like very short-lived. She was really messy, and we had very different lifestyles and different interests, and it was just like a very depressing house. Like it was her space was very messy. It was like very dark and dingy, and I was just not at like a good place in my life, and I wanted to be somewhere different. So I was working at Budget Car Rentals, and I was working with a few other girls, and I don't remember how it came about. Oh, I think so one of my actually childhood really good friends was working at Budget, this car rental place, and she was looking for a place to live. So we kind of ended up talking. I think she connected me with this other girl. I don't remember how I got connected to this other girl, but there was this other girl in our town that was also looking for a place to live. So we all kind of connected somehow, and then me and that other girl ended up like arranging a rental. So we were like looking at rentals all the time, sending them to each other, and then we ended up finding this beautiful mansion with like 5 or 6 bedrooms. I can't remember how many. But it was like this gorgeous mansion on Vancouver Island, like right across from the ocean. Like it was a beautiful ocean view, and it was perfect. And we were like, okay, let's book an appointment with this lady. So me and this girl met with this lady, and we were just telling her like, yeah, it's just us and our friends. We're students, and like we were all either students or working. So we just told her we're working professionals, students. All we really do is like work, and we like to be home and cook and all this stuff. And I mean, really, we were like, oh my God, this is gonna be like a party house. This is amazing. But we were just telling her like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be for like school. We're just gonna hang out. There's like 5 of us, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up, for some reason, no idea why, she ended up renting us this place. So we all signed onto the lease. We all like picked our bedrooms. There was like a master bedroom that almost every single one of us lived in at some point because people just kept moving out. But anyways, so yeah, we had like this lease that like all 5 of us were on. We were not supposed to have any pets, and we actually had Susie. My other roommate had her little like Frenchie bulldog, and then someone had a cat at some point. Like we always had like 2 or 3 pets at any given time, but we were all like pretty responsible pet owners, I would say. Like we didn't let them do any damage. We knew they wouldn't damage anything, and we just needed a place to live. Like housing was so hard to find, and it was a way that we could have like a really nice house and we could all save a lot of money. We were all paying like around like $400 or $500 for rent at this place because there were so many of us. And yeah, so that was really fun. We had like a lot of fun stories and memories from there because we were like 5 different friend groups. Like I wasn't close with any of these people, so we all had 5 different friend groups. So whenever we would have like a party or something like that, it would be like 5 different friend groups of parties. So we were all mingling, we were all meeting a lot of people, we were having like these little wine nights. It was honestly so much fun. 10 out of 10 recommend. It was like all good people too. Like nobody was like stealing from each other or like hooking up with each other's boyfriends or anything. Like we were all very nice people, so it worked out really well. But yeah, it was really fun. I just can't believe they rented to us, to be honest. So yeah, we lived there. I was like working at the time, and then I had a friend that was in school, but I actually have made some really close friends. Like one of my best friends now, actually I met in that house, and for some reason she was like exiled and like nobody liked her, and I love her, but it was really weird. She kind of like had beef with everyone, and she actually worked with me as well, and then she ended up getting fired at work pretty much just because nobody at work liked her, which was really super unfair and very discriminatory. But yeah, so we lived in that house for like almost a year, and basically like I was the one who had to learn how to do any of like the house kind of upkeep stuff because literally no one else really cared. Like we had one girl that really cared about cleaning, so we'd have like this group chat and everybody was just always on each other's ass, like about, okay, you guys, you have to remember to take the garbage out, don't forget to do this, people keep leaving dishes out. It was just like this out of control sorority house of like girls living together, and like we were all so different, and everybody was like constantly fighting, but we were like family. At one point, I think it was like so it was like me, my friend, her little sister, and her boyfriend living there, and then we had like another roommate, and another roommate. So there was like a full house at all times. It was just, the thing that was really hard though is Susie pretty much barks at everything, and like if I were to leave her in my room in my basement, she would just cry the whole time. So I pretty much had to take her absolutely everywhere at this point, or sometimes I would like drop her off to my ex's mom's house for the day because she loved Susie, so she would just like hang out with her and she would be babysitting. And yeah, I couldn't leave Susie there by herself. Like I literally had to bring her with me everywhere, which was really hard. But yeah, I think that was like my funnest year. Also that year I actually ended up meeting some guys that were legitimately in the Italian mafia. Their dads were like mafia people, and it was like the sons of these mafia people, and they were like really nice guys, honestly, but I don't know what their families are into. Probably not great stuff, but they were a bunch of really funny Italians. So me and another friend of mine were actually like going back from Orange County, and we met them in Vegas, and then we were kind of going back and forth to Orange County to hang out with them because we kind of like became friends with these guys, and those were also some really funny memories. But yeah, so this was, I would say, like probably like the wildest year of my life, and something I'll never regret. And when I was younger, I made sure, like before I had kids, I made sure that every decision I made was something that was gonna help me to not regret things later. So anytime like a fun opportunity would come up, I'm like, I have to say yes to this because I'm gonna be so pissed at myself in 10 years if I didn't do funny, cool shit like this. And a lot of it was slightly dangerous, I will say. I don't recommend like taking a lot of risks like this, but I am glad that I had a lot of experiences and that things worked out. And yeah, I just thought of a really funny story about when we lived in that mansion. So we always like tried to be super responsible, but obviously we were like lying about having pets, and So whenever the landlord wanted to come, for whatever reason, we had to like hide the pets. And there was one time where, first of all, I will say the landlord was not from Canada. She's from like another country. And we definitely tried to use that to our advantage in our mischievous ways at the time. So the landlord came over one time for whatever reason, just like a viewing, because she was probably realized like, okay, I'm renting a house to a bunch of young adults and teenagers. What was I thinking? I better make sure the house isn't destroyed. And we kept it really nice, so that was good. But yeah, she's like, let me be nice to Susie. Susie's getting actively hunted as we speak. And so yeah, she's like, I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do a check of the house. So whatever, like this is when I'm coming. And she would always try to not give us 24 hours notice, but I was very aware of all of the rules. So I'm like, well, you actually have to give us 24 hours written notice so you can come tomorrow. So I was kind of a pain in the butt in that way, but I needed to use those tools because we had pets and like we needed to prepare and whatever, get all the dogs out of the house. So yeah, she's like told us she's coming to do like a viewing one time. So she comes and we've hid all the pet stuff. I thought like everybody was responsible for kind of hiding their own stuff. All the dogs are out of the house, whatever. Our friend that had a cat just like let her cat outside, I guess. Like she was an inside and outside cat. So she just sent the cat outside and was like, don't come back until after, basically. So like the visits, it's going okay. And she's like she's looking around because we were having an issue, I think, with our washer and dryer or something like that. Or she's just checking all the appliances or something. And she's like in the laundry room and she finds this giant bag of dog food. And it's like, I'm like the host with this lady. Like I'm like walking around with her, kind of doing all the talking, having the big responsibility because I was the only one that was available that day, I guess. So she's like, oh, what's this dog food? No pets. You're not supposed to have pets. And I'm like, oh, we don't have pets. We just like to feed the raccoons sometimes outside. So I'm like, we'll just put a little bit of like dog food. The raccoons love dog food, which they actually do. But I'm like, we just put out a little bit of dog food outside and then the raccoons come and they're so cute. And she literally was like, what is wrong with these people? But she couldn't really like dispute that. It's just like a very weird thing. Susie, no. So she couldn't really like dispute or say anything about that. So she was kind of like, you're not allowed pets. And I'm like, we don't have pets. There's no pets here. So we go through the rest of the visit. Everything's fine. And then we end up outside and we're like kind of like saying our goodbyes, whatever. And we're standing in the front of the property and the door's open. Like I'm like standing there with the door open because we don't have any pets to worry about. And as I'm standing there with the door open, the cat runs inside from the street. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whose cat is that? And like this cat's like, I live here. Like I'm going inside to my room because I live here. But the lady's like, oh, she didn't really actually say much, to be honest. She just like kind of saw the cat. And I'm like, oh my gosh, a cat just ran in our house. And then it's kind of like, I have to go like get this cat. That's so weird. So then she left. I feel bad for this lady. She was so stressed out by us. Like, I don't know if she was actually stressed out, but we put her through some stress, like, and then, I mean, we did try to do everything as right as we could. Like, anytime somebody would say, I'm moving out, we would, like, post their room for rent, like, get people in, like, we would interview people, and, like, we would get them to sign on to a new lease, and we always paid our rent, so that's good. We never destroyed the house, and that's what's important, I think, but we certainly had some funny situations at this house and some funny memories. And yeah, I'll never forget the time living in that mansion and just having like cool parties. We had like 3 levels. So it was like, there's like a huge upper level with like there's like one big room with a balcony up there. And that room, obviously you had to pay more. So that was like, whoever was like in that room was like the cool one. But then we all kind of took a turn. Like, so one girl, she ended up moving out. So then the big room was available. So somebody took the big room, and then, yeah, there was a lot of drama in that house. There was a lot of funny memories. And if I can think of any other stories, I'll tell them. But Lumi, are you gonna be okay? But yeah, that's a few of the stories that I can think of right now of living in that mansion and just having our own little sorority house. So thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.